Hello students. Yesterday we have discussed some important questions based on the topic that our chapter, that is moving charges and magnetism. So there we have discussed a number of questions that is asked already in your board examinations. So there one important topic we have discussed, that is Ampere's law and the application of Ampere's law. About that we have just studied there. So in that case, current magnetic field due to any conducting wire or a straight conducting wire, magnetic field due to solenoid, due to toroid. So all these cases and its derivations are very important, and some of the numericals we have solved based on that. So next thing that is also very important here, that in at any axial point due to any current loop, what will be the magnetic field there. So as suppose this is a current loop we have, and this is the axial point at this current loop. So at this point, what will be the magnitude of magnetic field and what will be its directions? So that question is also very important, and numerical problems have been asked based on this question. So its derivation you can just see that by using Biot-Savart law. So because derivations is also important, but still a numerical problem based on this that is asked, that is important. So here I will discuss that numerical problem. So directly I am just going to tell you what will be the value of magnetic field due to this current carrying wire or current carrying loop at any axial point, and after that we will solve a numerical problem based on that is asked in your examination. So here the magnetic field at that point P, that is given by mu 0 I a square upon 2 times, this is x square plus a square power 3 by 2, where this I is the current, that is current flowing in this conductor. Second thing, a is the radius of this current carrying loop. Here x is the distance of this point from the center of the loop, and a you know already. So with the help of that you can easily find out what will be the magnetic field due to this current carrying loop at this point here. So at any axial point, this is the magnitude of magnetic field and its direction. When the current is flowing anti-clockwise, then that time direction is outside the loop, and when current is flowing clockwise, then side the loop its direction is. So with the help of even that you can calculate its direction. So let's see one question, after that we will discuss it. So we have one numerical problem based on this, that is two identical circular loops P and Q. Suppose we have two identical circular loops. Here one loop we have more. So this is two identical circular loops P and Q. Suppose this loop is P, this loop is Q, that is given to us, and each of radius small r. So here this radius is given small r here, and also its radius is small r, carrying equal currents. So here one more condition is given, they are carrying equal current here, and also equal current are kept in parallel plane. So they are parallel plane as you are seeing, having a common axis passing through center O. So they having common this, and suppose this is the O through which they are passing. Now the direction of current in P is clockwise. So here the first direction that is given, this is clockwise direction, and this direction is given, that is anti-clockwise current direction is given in the coil Q here. So anti-clockwise as seen from O, which is equidistant from the loop P and Q. So next condition is given, this point O is equidistant from P and Q here. Then what will be the magnitude of net magnetic field at O? So the question is very simple. We have two circular loops P and Q that are in parallel plane, and that have means they have common axis here, and they are passing through the center O, And next thing is that the current in loop P, that is clockwise, and the current in loop Q, that is in anti-clockwise direction, and also they have same radius, and from this point O they are equidistant. So from this point, as it is given that center, so if this distance is 2r. So finally we have this is given, then this will be obviously this distance will be r, and this will be also r. Now we have all the things, and we have to find out what will be the magnetic field at this point O. So first of all, by using, obviously you are seeing again here the concept of circular coil, and at this point is axial point, at this which we have to find out the magnetic field. So first of all, just find out the magnetic field due to this first coil and due to second coil. So as we are seeing here, they have common identical radius, and also they are equidistant from this point, they are carrying same current, then obviously magnetic field due to both of the circular loops, that will be same here. So if suppose V1 is the magnetic field due to this, V2 is the magnetic field due to that, then obviously the magnetic field V1 and V2 in magnitude, both of the field, that will be equal here. So let's find out it by this formula here. So we have V1 is equal to V2, this is equal to mu 0 I, radius is given, that is r here, this will be r square, this is 2, and here the value of x is also r, so r square plus again a is r square power 3 by 2. And after that we can solve it, and if we will solve it, then see what will we find. So if we will solve it, then V1 is equal to V2 is equal to, this will be totally, here this is mu 0 I r square downward, this is 2 into, this is 2 r square. So here you can write it 2 power 3 by 2 into r square power 3 by 2. 3 by 2. Now again you can just solve it. So just simplify it, it will be r square, and this is, if you will just solve it, then we can get here from 4 root 2, and this is 2 to, and this will be cancelled, this will be r cube, and finally if you will just solve it, then we can obtain here r. So this is the magnetic field due to both of the coils at that center. And now as the direction of current in both the coils that are different, means in first coil, that is the direction is in clockwise, and in second coil that is in anti-clockwise. So if you will take the direction here, means if two circular coils or thick coils that are just the current is flowing in opposite directions, then that time their magnetic field that gets added, the net magnetic field that gets added here. So final magnetic field, that will be V1 plus V2 here. Then finally you will get this value is equal to mu 0 I upon 2 root 2 r. So this is the value of the magnitude of magnetic field due to this type of system that we have given. And now what will be the direction of magnetic field? So obviously, as I told you, if you will just use the thumb rule here, then with the help of that you can find out easily what is the direction of magnetic field. So that direction will be towards the P. So towards loop P, there will be the direction of magnetic field here. So one example that we have taken from the concept of magnetic field due to circular loop at axial points. So this is the application of Biot-Savart law also. Next question, let's see that. So we have next question that is related to here, as whenever any charged conductor that is flowing through any, or that is moving through any magnetic field, then that magnetic field try to oppose the movement of that charge carrying conductor. As you know that due to flow of current or due to current carrying conductor that is moving, so due to that a magnetic field that will be produced and that will try to oppose the original magnetic field. So obviously in opposition, a force that is acting on the wire or current conductor that is moving, so due to that force the field that tries to rotate the conductor in the magnetic field. So whenever the any particle that is charged particle that has certain charge or any current carrying wire or conductor that is moving through any uniform magnetic field, then in that case magnetic field tries to rotate it and try to oppose its motion, and in that case a torque will act on it. The value of that torque is given by tau is equal to mb sin theta, or you can say m cross b. So here both things are vector quantity, and m is here magnetic moment. So magnetic moment, you know that is given by NIA, where N is number of turns, I is current flowing in the conductor, A is cross-sectional area. So let's see a numerical problem based on this, because here based on this numericals are asked already. No, derivations are not that important as the numericals are important here. So number of questions has been asked with the help of torque concept, and here application of that torque exam this very important, like the application of torque that is we are using in galvanometer. So the concept of galvanometer and that current produced in galvanometer, and also how to convert galvanometer into voltmeter and ammeter, that is also very important, and why we are using the means what is the construction of galvanometer, how we are using this concept of the torque in that case, that is also important, and we have discussed already in our classes. So here I am not going to again discuss the galvanometer here, and also based on galvanometer we have just discussed 1, 2, 3 numericals there. So I think student that is now clear, and that is really also very important, the galvanometer concepts and the numerical based on that, how to convert it into voltmeter and ammeter. Number of questions are asked based on that, and from the help of galvanometer there can be questions in case study, in 1 mark question, in 2 marks, 3 marks, 5 marks, anywhere can be questions. So that's why the torque concept and the galvanometer concept, that is really very important. So just study that basic thing. Here we are going to discuss the numerical problems that is asked based on that torque problem. So just see the numerical, that is a closely wound solenoid of 2000 tons and cross-sectional area 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 4 meters square. So first of all we have two things, that is number of turns in any solenoid that is given 2000, and the cross-sectional area in which it is wounded, that is 1.6 into 10 power minus 4 meters square. And this carrying a current of 4 ampere is suspended through its center, allowing it to turn in a horizontal plane. So it means that it is given that a solenoid that is suspended through its center, and now it is allowing to turn in the horizontal plane. It can move there, and here the current that is flowing through it, this is given 4 ampere. Now we have to find out first thing, that is what will be the magnetic moment associated with the solenoid. So let's find out first this thing. So the magnetic moment associated with the solenoid, you know that is given by M is equal to NIA. So your number of turns that is given, I that is given, area that is given. So just use it directly here. This is 2000 into this 4 into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 4, as they are already in standard units, so no need to convert any units here. So just solve it only. We will get 4 into 2 into 10 to the power minus 1, and finally you can obtain here 1.28 meters square. So this value that we can obtain after solution. So that ampere meter square should be here. Ampere meter square. So this is the magnetic moment that is associated with the solenoid. Second question in this that is given, what will be the magnitude and direction of the torque on the solenoid if a horizontal magnetic field of 7.5 into 10 power minus 2 Tesla, this is given 7.5 into 10 to the power minus 2 Tesla, is set up at an angle of 30 degree with the axis of solenoid. So now this thing is given. First of all, we have just suspended a solenoid through its center and it is free to move and along its or in any horizontal plane, like in this like this we have suspended it. And now first we are just producing a magnetic field of this strength there. Then obviously I just told you, due to this magnetic field the current that is flowing means this will try to rotate that current carrying wire due to a force acting on it, and that force you know that is known as Lorentz force, and its value is F is equal to Q V cross B. We have just solved question on that, and let's solve after this. So due to that Lorentz force, this magnetic field tries to rotate the axis of solenoid. So here the axis of solenoid that is rotated through the angle 30 degree that is given to us. So we have to find out the magnitude of torque and direction. So as just let's erase it. The magnitude of torque that is given by M cross B here, or you can write it MB sine of theta. And now we have just calculated the value of magnetic moment. Value of this magnetic field is given, value of theta is given. Just use it and we can find out what will be the value of torque here. So this value of torque will be 1.28 into this 7.5 into 10 to the power minus 4 I think 10 power minus 2 is given here, and here this sine theta, sine 30 degree, its value is directly 1.2 you can write. And now after solution its value will be equal to 48 into 10 to the power minus 3 Newton meter. So this is the value of torque that is produced in such kinds of system that we have given. Now what will be the direction of torque here? So now direction of torque, again you can write find out it easily with the help of rule. So according to that, its direction will comes out to be the perpendicular to the plane of magnetic field. So as we have discussed how to find out directions of magnetic field, directions of force that is acting on its, direction of torque. So with the help of that easily you can find out in which directions this torque is working. So that is perpendicular to the both of the magnetic field, both the plane of the solenoid and the magnetic field. So in the perpendicular of both it will be there. So I think now there is no problem in this question here. So next question, let's discuss it here. So next question, that is a derivation that is also very important here. If we have two long conducting wire or straight wires that are parallel to each other, suppose that we have these two wires that are parallel to each other and they are carrying current in the same direction. So suppose this wire that is of L1 length, and suppose we are not taking infinitely, suppose they are of finite length. This is of length L1 and this is carrying a current I1. This is of length L2 and this is carrying current something I2. Suppose they are carrying current in the same direction and they are kept closer to each other, then we can find out easily what will be distance between them. So suppose D is the distance between them, and now if the magnetic field, obviously this current carrying wire will produce a magnetic field here on this, and we have calculated this value is in previous class by using Ampere's law, and that is equal to mu 0 I upon 2 pi d. Clear? So this is the things that we have calculated already. So with the help of that, here will be the magnetic field. With the help of that, here will be also a magnetic field. So obviously here, suppose this is the B2 magnetic field, this is B1 magnetic field that is produced here. Then obviously, if suppose just now we have studied the concept here, whenever any wire, any loop that is current carrying loop here, and due to that a magnetic field is present. Clear? Now in this magnetic field another loop is moving, then this magnetic field will try to impart an force on it, and that force is known as Lorentz force, and it means that this wire will, due to this wire there will be a production of force on this, and due to this wire there will be production of force on this. So it means that both of the wires will produce force on each other here. Now what will be the value of that force? That is also very important question, derivation here, and with the help of that number of numerical problems can be asked there. So first of all, what will be the magnitude of this V1 here? So that is equal to mu 0, here this current is I1 and 2 pi d we have. And similarly you can find out what will be the magnitude of this V2, that will be mu 0 I2 upon 2 pi d we have. Yeah? And now we know that the value of f, that is given by I BL sin theta. Yeah? So with the help of this concept we can easily find out what will be the value of force that is produced due to this first carrying wire or due to second current carrying wire. So due to first current carrying wire, the force that will be developed in this conducting wire. So this has length L2. Here the magnetic field that is produced, that is V1, and here current that is flowing here I2. Clear? Due to this, force is imparted on this. So here current is I2, length is L2, and magnetic field is V1 here, that is produced here. And already if they are parallel to each other, it means that here the direction of magnetic field that will be in the perpendicular direction here. So if this direction is perpendicular, then sin theta will be equal to 1 here. So here this value is now this. Then just put the value of B1 here. So finally you will get here mu 0 I1 I2 L2 divided by 2 pi d. Similarly, we can find out what will be the value of force that is developed due to this current carrying wire. So in this wire, if F2 force that is generated here, so that will be equal to the current here I1, length is L1, and magnetic field is here V2. So just put the value of V2 here. We will again get mu 0 I1 I2 L1 divided by 2 pi d. So if suppose length of both of the wire that are same, in that case the force that is imparted on both of the wires, that will be also equal, and if length is different, then that will be different forces they will impart on each other. Means if the current carrying wire that we are taking, if they are of different lengths, then the force applied by them, that is also different, and if the direction of current here that will be different, then that time also here the net force that is developed due to them, that will be different here. So first of all, I think that is now clear what will be the value of force that will be generated here, and also you can calculate force per unit length here. So force per unit length, that will be equal to here L2 just, so that will be mu 0 I1 I2 upon 2 pi d. So it means that whenever we are taking a number of wires of different lengths, then if we will find force per unit length there, then due to them means here the force per unit length imparted on this, or force per unit length imparted on this, that will be both of the things will be equal here. Clear? So I think these two now equal. Then let's solve one of the numerical problem based on this also. So here the question that is given, that is a square loop of side 20 centimeter carrying current of 1 ampere is kept near an infinite long straight wire carrying a current of 2 ampere in the same plane as shown in the figure. So just see the figure, you will just able to understand what is the question wants to. So here two things are given. We have one square loop. In this 1 ampere current that is flowing, and also we have infinitely long straight wire, that is, this is an infinitely long straight wire that is carrying a current of 2 ampere as in the figure that is shown here. And also the sides of this square that is given 20 centimeter, and distance between them that is given here 10 centimeter. Then obviously this distance will be overall 30 centimeter that we have. Now we have to calculate the magnitude and direction of net force exerted on the loop due to current carrying conductor. So here we have to find out, obviously I have just told you, if we have two current carrying wire that are parallel to each other, and also there is the current they are carrying, due to that obviously they will impart some of the force on each other. So here we have to find out the force, net force exerted by this long current carrying wire on this square loop only. So in one direction only we have to want. So here you can see two sides of the square loop that are in the parallel to this current carrying wire, this side and this side both. And obviously here due to this side the force will be 0 here. No need to tell why this will be 0, as there the angle that will be formed between them that will be equal to 0 there. So sin 0 is equal to 0. So only due to these two sides there will be the magnetic force that will be developed. So first of all, just resolve this problem. So let's see only these two things. Means we have suppose two wires and its length is given that is equal to 20 centimeter. Obviously square is this length is given, and here the current that is, one has current 2 ampere, second has current 1 ampere, and also they are parallel to each other. The current is flowing in the same direction, and distance between them is 10 centimeter. Then just we have discussed its derivations. Then we can find out what will be the value of force due to this current carrying wire on this wire. So this force is equal to, suppose this is force F1, so this will be equal to mu 0 I1 I2 L2, this L2, suppose this is I2, upon 2 pi B. Okay. So here the value of mu 0, just write it, or mu 0 upon 4 pi if you will take here, then you can take easily here, just multiply here 2 and just 2 here 2. Then with the help of that, if you will find, write down this value, this will be equal to 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 here. And this is equal to, here I1 is, we have 2 ampere, I2 is 1 ampere, length is here 20 centimeter, just convert it into meter here, and after that just put the value of D. So this is also 10 centimeter, convert it. And now just solve it. This will provide you the value of, required value of the force here. Again, here we have one more two parallel conducting wires. So here one more parallel conducting wire, that is this is 2 ampere we have, and here the direction of current you are seeing here this, and here 1 ampere current that is flowing. And then distance between this plate and this plate, that is equal to 30 centimeter we have. Yeah. Now with the same way you can find out again what will be the force in this case. So force F2, that will be here mu 0 10 to the power minus 7 into I1 is obviously 2, I2 is 1, and the distance here L2 here again same 20 into 10 to the power minus 2 and divided by the distance between them, this D, that is 30 centimeter, that is minus 2, and just solve it. And after solution you have got here F1 and F2. So as in both of the cases, here current is in different directions, so here this will be minus here due to the different directional current here. And if net force that is developed in this loop that you will take, then that will be sum of the forces here. So when we will take sum of these two forces, means F1 plus F2, then you will just means here take the difference between these two quantities, and finally we will got the value here, that is 5.3 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton. So this is the value of force on this square loop due to this long correct wire. So this is the application of the derivations that we have used before. And here if you will find out the direction here, that will be towards infinitely long straight conducting wire, because the direction of force here, that will be in outside direction. So I think students, now what we have discussed, that is clear. So if all the things that we have discussed today, that is clear, then let's end the class here, and we have discussed the number of numerical problems that is asked from the moving charges and magnetism. So just end the class here today. Rest of the things I will see and I will discuss in next class. So thank you.